Hi everyone, I'm Jordana. I'm the South Bronx community educator, and I'm super excited to be here today with a special guest. Over to you.
Hey, Jordana, and hey, everybody. My name is Lexi Parra. I am a visual journalist and a community educator in Venezuela. I am here telling people's stories and learning more about the social situation, the political situation that's going on here. My whole family is from Venezuela, so I actually moved back here kind of to re-understand what's going on. And I dedicate a lot of my time to teaching young kids about photography and hosting free workshops in different communities around Caracas. The whole idea, it's called Mira Venezuela.
Okay.
So Mira in Spanish means look, but we use it here as like Mira, like pay attention, wake up, look over there. So our whole idea is for people to realize that they can tell their own stories and that their perspective matters. So I'm really excited to be here today to talking with all of you guys, and hopefully can give you guys some fun ideas, some couple of stories to keep you entertained and active during this time.
How did you get started with photography before all of this work with Mira? When did you first pick up a camera?
I think, well, my dad is actually a filmmaker, so I've always been around cameras and documentary storytelling, but I never realized it could be a job. Even though my dad did it, I was like, oh, I can actually study this and I can go into this professionally. So I started out taking senior portraits when I was 15 of people in high school, just for fun. And then people started liking it. And I found a really great photography program and went to college at Bard College in upstate New York. And ever since then, I've just been really interested in using a camera to meet people, to understand. Photography and the camera for me are kind of my excuse to get to know people, to ask questions that, you know, maybe you wouldn't get into those types of conversations if you weren't taking pictures of something. So my photography practice is totally 100% inspired by the people that I meet and my own like curiosity of wanting to understand our world and our stories and share them with other people.
Is there a particular image that you love or that really resonates with you?
Well, there are a couple of images from my own work that I'll share with you guys right now. I have two portraits that I really love and I always go back to. This portrait is of my friend Nancy, and we were just hanging out in her house one day, drinking coffee on a Sunday morning, and there was just this quiet moment. And I was like, I really want to take your picture. And this just kind of reminds me how you can be really intimate and close and vulnerable with somebody, even when you have a camera. A lot of times people think photography is like hunting after something. And I don't practice that. I really like to get to know the people that I'm photographing, or friends and family inspire me a lot. And I think the relationship you have with the person you're photographing, them on a level, really helps the photography. This other portrait I have is from Carnaval in the beginning of March, before all of this happened. It was the last big celebration in Caracas where kids and families were just hanging out and celebrating, and it reminds me of my outsider perspective because I didn't grow up here in Venezuela, even though I am Venezuelan American. And it kind of just reminds me to always be curious and always have like a fresh look at the things going on around you, because there's always interesting things, even in the everyday. Those are some images that I really resonate with.
These are super striking images.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. So a lot of your work involves going out into the community and talking with people and meeting new folks. What has it been like for your photography practice, having to be in quarantine and stay mostly inside?
Yeah, it has been really challenging, but as challenging as it's been, I've also been a chance to reflect a lot. Here in Venezuela, and I think a lot of Latinos, even in the US, will know this, or other countries, immigrants know that WhatsApp is like our lifeline to our family in other countries, and it's definitely the way that we always stay connected. So I've actually been doing a lot of work playing around with WhatsApp messages and videos and editing collages together, to kind of show and tell people's stories, but through their text messages. So it's a way for me to show how we're distant, but how we're also staying connected. Here in Venezuela, there's a lot of craziness that goes on. We have been in a 6-year-long crisis of economic, social, political, and during quarantine, that never stops. That hasn't been put on pause. So there has been a lot of issues of gang violence during the quarantine. And I have a couple of friends who live in one of the hot spots of this street violence. And I live on the other side of town, very quiet, very isolated. And so I've also been doing collages of their recollections of what's going on, or they're telling me like, this happened today, or this happened yesterday, or just a text saying, I'm really nervous and I'm really stressed out, I just want to talk to you. And I've been putting that with images of things that are very calming, like a sunset that I see outside my window, or birds chirping, and kind of showing that contrast, and how we can live in the same city, but because of quarantine, living completely different lives. So I've been playing with that a lot. I have a couple of those tests on my Instagram, so that's what's been keeping me busy.
Wow, that's super interesting, the way you found this kind of new method to still do your art practice even from inside, and still finding a way to connect with other people and collaborate, really.
Yeah, collaboration is super key in photography and in life, and so I think just being open to experimenting and realizing that even everyday things are interesting, like all of our stories are important during this time. So that's definitely something important to keep in mind.
Thank you so much for sharing, and look forward to a couple more videos where Lexi's going to be providing us with some prompts and some workshops and tips on how we can work on our photography skills while inside. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, see you guys later.